Hello, today we'll look at how to expand the definition of trigonometry with a unit circle. I've created this worksheet in this particular website. So before sine A, if this is the angle A, sine A for a right angle triangle is the opposite over the hypotenuse. So here's the opposite and here is the hypotenuse. Now for a unit circle is where the radius of the circle is 1 unit. So in this particular case, the opposite over the hypotenuse now is sine A now is just basically the height of this right angle triangle because this divided by 1 is just the height here. So the blue line represents sine theta, sine A at the moment. So 40 degree, for example, A here control the angle. If here's 40 degree, then the height of this thing here is about, you can see that about 0.6. In fact, the correct answer is 0.6428. So that measures the height. So this becomes sine theta. So if I increase the angle theta, for example, 45, then you see that the height here is 0.7071. And if I keep on increasing, this is 70, and that's the height now, is about 0.9397. And if I keep on increasing, and when it reach 90 degree, and you see that the height here is 1, right? And for angle that is more than 90 degree, for example, like this, right, 130 degree, then basically 130 degree, then here become the height. And you can see now the height is still 0.766. And this is the same height as this one. And that angle here, this is, well, 180 minus 130 is 50 degree. So remember 0.7666, let's check again. Is this true? 50 degree. If I go back to 50, do I get back the same thing? 0.766. So I exchange position. See that? This height and that height is exactly the same, blue one. So what we have then is this. If we have sine 50 degree, that is the same as sine 130 degree because sine 130 is sine 180 minus 130. So this is what we have. All right, so let's check this again. Sine 130, right, is the same as sine 50. The height here is exactly the same. Now, if angle here is more than 180, you can see that now the height, when it's exactly 180, there is no height, so the angle, so sine theta, sine A is 0. If there is more than 180, for example, here is 210 degree, so this is 180 plus 50 degree, then, 180 plus, 30 degree over here, so get 210. Now the height here is negative because it's below the horizon, the x-axis. So this is 0.5, and this is the same as, here is 30 degree, it's the same as 330 over here. All right, so let's check. 330 is equal to the same thing. 330, negative 0.5, exactly the same thing, right? We exchange position because 330, so this angle here is 30 degree, here angle 30 degree. Now how about cosine A then? Well, cosine, let us return to the first quadrant. This is called the first quadrant. This is called the second quadrant. This is called the third quadrant. Here is called the fourth quadrant. Now let's say here is 60 degree. Now if 60 degree, cosine here was adjacent over hypotenuse. Since the hypotenuse is 1, then cos 60 degree is basically the base of the right angle triangle, the one in red. So in this case, cos 60 here is, the measure here is 0.5, right? How about cos 45? Well, cos 45, like this, so this is slightly more than 0.5 and less than 1, about 0.7. And you can see here, cos is 0.7071. Now, if I increase this angle, you can say at one point it will become 90 degree. Cos 90 degree is 0 because there is no base at this stage. If I keep on increasing, so for example, here is 120 here. Cos 120, now this angle here become 180 minus 120. So here is 60 degree. So cos 60 is negative 0.5. So it's the base here. The base now is negative because it's to the left-hand side of the 0. This is the origin. Here's positive number, here's negative number. So this is what we have. Also, if you have a cos 150, that is the same as negative cos 30. So cos 150, let's try this, cos 150 here, negative 0.866, and this is the same as this one, right? It's the same, right? So let's go to 30 degree again, 0.8, 30 degree, 0.866, right? The same as, but the sign is different. Here's the same length, but the sign is different. So negatives here, right? So this is what one property we have. So the cosine in the second quadrant is negative. In fact, sine and cosine both in the first quadrant are positive. Cosine is positive in the second quadrant, but cosine is negative in the second quadrant. How about the third quadrant then? Well, if we go to about 230 then, you can see that, well, here, the cosine is still negative because it's on this side. But if you keep on increasing, past 270 in the fourth quadrant, then the base now is here. So the base is positive. So for cosine of 290 degree, the cosine here is positive. And this is the same here as this angle, all right? This is 290. That means this is 270 plus 20 here. 270, 20, here must be 70 left. So this angle is 70. So 290 should be the same as 70. Look at that, 70, 0.342, 0.342, and then 290 is also 0.342, right? It's the same. Basically, it's up here is 70, and here is 290, but the same base. Now we look at tangent. Tangent, basically, you can think of it as sine divided by cosine. So for example here, tangent of 290 is basically this number divided by that. You get negative 2.747. Or you can think of it this way. If we go back to the first quadrant, right? Go back to the first quadrant here, right? 50 degree. Now, this height here, this one in purple, this one in brown, that is the measure of the tangent. Basically, it's the ray from A to C and intersecting the tangent line at B. So if you go to 45, you see that the tangent 45 is exactly 1. See that? It's exactly equal to 1. And tangent 90, in this case, well, will be undefined because these two lines are parallel, so there's no intersection. How about more than 90? Well, if more than 90, for example, at 105 like this, then the ray will be extended backward, and here you can see the tangent here is negative. And this is obvious because sine A is positive, cosine A is negative, so the tangent must be negative. So we can think of tangent here. Tangent 135 degree, for example, is negative of tangent 180 minus 135 or minus tangent 45. Let's check that. Tangent of 135, see, it should be negative 1 before tangent